Hey everybody, welcome back to Wind Grace, and this will be a theory slash what's going on video for Star Trek Picard Season 2. This is coming at you right after Episode 2 has dropped, so that will give you Episode 1 and 2 information. I have not watched the trailer for Episode 3. I am trying to keep myself as firmly unspoiled this season as possible. So this is going to go purely on the trailers we saw leading up to the first few episodes, the teasers, all that stuff, plus maybe some information that's been said by the actors prior to coming out with this season. So a couple of the things that I think are playing bigger roles than are being let on this season are, number one, Guinan. I think Guinan is playing a much larger role than, what she's been perceived so far in the series, which is basically Picard had his feelings a little wonky after that chance encounter. Well, it wasn't really a chance encounter. That meeting with Laris where, they almost kissed, and then he's, not into that sort of thing, 97 years old, and he's not one for love, even though, he did have several relationships we saw in The Next Generation, none of them lasting very long. Of course, I think a lot of the fan base did want to see him settle down with Beverly. That doesn't seem to have happened, or if it did, maybe it went the route of what happened in All Good Things, and did not end very well. There's been no reference to that whatsoever since we came back from post-Nemesis stuff, so whether or not there was a Beverly connection ever, that is yet to be seen. In the novels, I know that there was, at least in some of the novels. I haven't completely kept up, but I think they actually got together and had a kid at one point. But that remains to be seen in the actual canon of these shows. I do believe that when Picard went to see Guinan, and she could tell what's going on, she seemed to know it was about his love life and things of that nature. So I'm thinking that Guinan, coupled with the relationship she's had in the past with the Q and the Borg, she may have been the one that... Why did I just get an accent? Anyways, she may have been the one that instigated all of these things going forward. She does have a relationship with time, space, beyond the norm. Possibly, I'm thinking she may have been the one to contact Q. Now, there's also something going on with Q. Is this all an act? Is he playing a part because he kind of knows... this is what Picard needs. This is what's going to get him motivated. Is this similar to what happened in, let's say that, what was it called? That episode where they went to Sherwood Forest. That was a whole other reality. Stakes were real, but was it actually happening? Or is this some sort of alternate timeline that's not really playing for keeps? That remains to be seen. However, I kind of have a feeling that all of these things were put into motion by Guinan, and by the end of the series, well, the season at least, I don't know what they're doing with season 3, we're going to find out that this was some sort of convoluted trial for Picard to get over whatever he's dealing with. Now, maybe that gets entangled with what's going on with Q. Maybe something's going on with the Continuum, because he did not seem to be with it. Last we saw him, I do believe, he still had a wife, and we know he had a son. I don't know if he ended up breaking up with that female Q that he met off in Voyager, but I do know that he had a son. The last time we saw both of them, his son got in trouble, saved Icheb's life, learned some valuable lessons about that. Has Q lost his family? Is Q now so involved with a family that he realizes that's the one thing Picard hasn't done that's kind of holding Picard back from reaching the levels Q was always kind of thought Picard was? Because Picard is definitely somebody that Q thinks is worth more than a normal person. I think he thinks Picard is the best of us and has the capability of leading humanity in that road to become, as he said, better than a Q. If that's possible, maybe he needs Picard to open his heart and his mind to that one facet that he kind of hasn't so far. Get over these hurdles, get over what's keeping him from that one last aspect of humanity that's really going to bridge the gap between where Picard comes from and where he needs to go. For all I know, at the end of this thing, Picard is going to become a Q, or he's going to ascend and, become the next step in human evolution, that sort of thing. I don't know if that's where it's really going, but I do have a feeling that Q, Picard, and Guinan are all kind of intermixed in this, beyond time, beyond space rewriting of reality to teach Picard this one last final lesson. And all of Picard's friends are along for the ride, possibly because they all kind of have their own problems. You know, Elnor has a problem of kind of relating because he was raised as an outsider, all that stuff. Rafi had this drug addiction, estrangement from her son, all that stuff that we haven't really touched on. Jurati's just a mess. She murdered her husband last season, or her ex, whatever he was, and hasn't really dealt with that. Rios lost his whole crew and had that trauma, so is this just one big lesson for everyone to get over their problems, and they'll come back to reality at the end of the season? That's kind of what I'm thinking is going on, as opposed to this big multiverse shattering event that kind of seems to be built up. I think this is all one personal journey that's being added onto by these cosmic beings that we know, and I think a lot of this is going to come down to Guinan instigating everything. Now, that's yet to be seen. Again, these theories are all coming at you after episode 2, so all we've really seen so far is the first episode of Picard dealing with his situation with Laris, going to see Guinan, going to see that Borg event, and, you know, sees episode 2. We go to the alternate timeline. He assembles all the friends that came with him, and the cliffhanger is Seven of Nine's husband is about to shoot them all. That's another person. Seven of Nine's had a lot of tragedies and problems in her life, so she's another broken person. We'll see where this goes, but I have a feeling this is all more of a personal journey situation than a cosmic event of the end of the universe, end of the world. Picard's the only one that can save us. I think when everything is said and done, Season 2 is going to be nothing more than a personal journey using sci-fi multiverse-shattering events as its backdrop. So look out for Guinan. She's probably got more to do. Whether or not she's actually going to be an active player in several episodes, we're going to see her much more, I don't know. But I do believe that this is all taking events from Picard's past to recreate a universe where things have changed. And it's all going to come down to how Picard deals with this, how Picard changes, how the rest of the cast from Season 1 comes through and changes. And by the end of the season, we'll be back in a present timeline. Maybe that present timeline is going to be different. I sure hope it does, because there's a lot of changes from Season 1 I would like to see made permanent. Mainly, I would like to see Icheb not die the way he died. That was, you know, I'm a self-appointed Voyager fan. I don't know if Icheb is that important to the overall story arc of Star Trek, but I mean, come on. That kid has had a rough go of it. I mean, his parents gave him a virus, sent him to the Borg. He was unassimilated, you know, brought back to Voyager, kind of had a good thing going. We gave him back to his parents. They sent him back to the Borg to get assimilated, rescued him again. After a lot of turmoil and troubles, Voyager came back to the Alpha Quadrant. Don't really know what happened in the meantime. He joined Voyager, and then he got killed in a 2-minute scene, purely, I think, as just a throwaway to kind of give Seven of Nine a story arc that, you know, she could start as this tragic character. It wasn't doing justice to him as a character. He was being used as a pawn to set up a storyline for Seven of Nine that, to be fair, never even went anywhere. I mean, we never really resolved that aside from her killing the Deanna Troi lookalike. But again, in summary, I think Guinan, the Borg, and Q are all working in this together. Whether or not it's actually the Borg as we know them, that is also something that I don't know what's going on yet. I'll have to think more on that. Maybe after episode 3 I'll have some more ideas, but I'm going out on a limb right now to say Guinan, the instigator, working with Q. Whether or not it's something wrong with Q remains to be seen, because he is acting strange, but I do believe, end of the day, keep your eyes on Guinan. That's all I've got for you today. Again, this is the Wind Grace Picard, not review, theory video. And I will be back with you again shortly, at least for the episode 3 review, and possibly some more theories in the meantime. But until I'm here again, I hope you take care of yourself, do all the normal YouTube things that you do, share, like, subscribe, leave a comment about how terrible I am, how awesome I am, what your theories are. Basically anything you'd like to leave, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up button or the thumbs down button, at least several multiples that are even. And I'll see you next time. Take care, and computer, End program.